Yo guys, what's going on? Life of Rio here. Now, I've been looking at Mirage sleight of hand ability ever since DE kind of gave it some quality of life. Now, we all know Mirage is a pretty good frame, but she's only strong off her first and her third, and I do know that there's some form of players out there that use the second ability versus Corpus, but now I'm trying to see if it's a universal ability to basically see how good it is and how well it synergizes with her kit. Are you actually going to use it? Because Mirage is mainly made up of power, strength, and duration, so are you going to have the efficiency that you need to actually use this ability when it's time that when you're basically in trouble? Because we all know they nerfed her fourth ability so hard that it's kind of hard for you to actually use it while you're in trouble because the casting time is horrendous. Now, so what you guys can see me doing, I've been testing this for about 4 days in different environments, trying to see what I figure out. Now, the attraction radius on this move is pretty big, and it actually pulls enemies from behind walls. Now, one of the major downfalls that I did see with Sleight of Hands is the simple fact that it stopped by itself. And when I say it stopped by itself, meaning when I use my first ability, my clones themselves actually put out the jewels that they put out from Sleight of Hands as well. So it's one giant jewel from me, and then it's mini jewels around from my clones. Now, one of the main issues with this one is that you're going to see right here is that whenever I put out the jewel, and I'm trying to test the radius on this one from all of this, is that when you put the jewel out, the primary jewel pulls in the enemy, as you can see, because the aggro meter is so far. But the problem is that if there's a group of enemy, what ends up happening is that as soon as one enemy hits any of the surrounding smaller jewels, is that all of the enemies are going to stop because it's going to now stop the aggro. The problem is that I feel like it shouldn't stop the aggro, because as long as you have the jewels out, the enemy should run to that because of the aggro that's on it and actually keep pulling in the enemies. But as soon as one enemy hits one jewel, it stops it for every single enemy on the field. And that is one thing that I've been looking towards, to where it is not dependable CC. Now, what I want to get from this is this ability worth the time and effort that you're going to put into it to actually change up your build? Now, that's all given based on the build that you're currently running. For most, if you're going up against Corpus, I could kind of see how you can fit this in with her augment, because her augment does make it a lot better. Now, that's one thing I can say. But overall, is this a universal move that you're going to be using against all factions, like whenever you're in that pin down situation to where like you need to get out of it? And the answer is no. It's pretty situational. I feel like the buff that they gave her is too much of RNG. And one of my main downfall with this ability is the fact that even though they buffed it and gave it some quality of life, they gave it to the wrong side. So basically in Warframe, majority of the tile sets that you're going to be on is going to be light based. There's not that many shadows for you to be in, because remember, Mirage's RNG ability, which is, you know, Eclipse, is necessarily like if you're in light, you get a damage buff. If you're in the dark, you get a defense buff. Now, the blind ability, which is what you want from Sleight of Hands to give you the CC, is actually locked on the night side aspect, which is weird because it's hard enough to find shadow in the tile sets. It's so much of light when you're consistently always moving all over the place. So another thing that I wanted to point out is that the first part of it gives you blast radius damage, which isn't needed because it's a flat damage that doesn't really give you any benefits. It doesn't really do any substantial damage as much. Now, one thing I want to point out is that they're given a small amount of damage to Mirage, which is a crazy damage frame, because Mirage doesn't really need the extra damage at all. She completely wrecks with the amount of damage that she has. What she really needs is the survivability / CC, which this ability could have given her, but they locked it behind the night aspect. And personally for me, just based off playstyles, you guys let me know about it in the comment section. How do you play Mirage? You don't have that much power efficiency, that much efficiency to actually use this ability a lot because of how she's set around to be built. And we all know that her strongest ability is her first and her third ability. So trying to fit this into a build is a little bit weird. I like the synergy that they did. I just felt like if the synergy could stay out to where it makes enemies just keep moving and moving until all of the jewels are gone, it would have helped a lot more. And I feel like that's just something else that they could fit with more quality of life as well. But honestly, what I was hoping for is that this ability could kind of give her the CC that she needs for when you're using her in solos or whenever you're using her. because Mirage needs the survivability from the CC, because if she has all damage, the only thing that she's lacking is survivability from the CC. And one of the main problems with Mirage is the clone that stands right in front of me. When the enemy is shooting at the clone that's standing right in front of me, they actually hit me, which is completely bad. Even though they're not aiming at me, the clone stands directly in front of me, so Mirage takes full damage from that one as well. I would love for the clones to be a little bit shifted a little bit over to the side, but overall, would I suggest for you to actually build into this ability? Not necessarily. I would say she's still strong enough with just her regular 2 moves. The quality of life change is there, and I'm very thankful for them giving the quality of life, but overall it wasn't enough to actually make you change up your build with Mirage. I will be having a Mirage build video coming up for Endgame. I already have one. That is still the build video that I'm using, if you guys would like to check it out. But overall, would I feel like you should invest in this? Not at all. But I hope that you guys enjoyed. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up on how it's basically working. I feel like the aggro pulling on it is great. I felt like the blind should have been in the day form instead of the night. I feel like this really works on PoE as well, because you can see what time it is in PoE. But hope that you guys enjoyed. Please give the video a thumbs up if you did, and let me know how you're using your Mirage and if you like the ability.